Hi everyone, welcome back to Panathlon People. I'm your host Dom Fenton, and we are on to a new episode. So today we have Sue. Hi Sue, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Good, great to have you with us. So Sue, for people who don't know you, please why don't you introduce yourself and explain who you are?
I'm Sue, and I live in the Northwest, and I am a BSL interpreter.
Brilliant. So in terms of people may wonder what an interpreter does, why don't you just explain a little bit about that?
I work with deaf people, and if they go to an appointment, a hospital appointment, or through work, I will sign to the deaf person and then interpret what they're signing into English for the hearing professional.
Amazing. Busy at the moment?
Very busy. Yes. Love my job though.
And that's what it's about. So obviously, as a charity, we work with children and adults with additional needs and learning disabilities, and also with deaf children, hearing impaired children, visually impaired children. When did you first get involved in Panathlon?
I've worked with a deaf sports coach for a while, and they've got a job and are now working with Panathlon.
Okay.
And it was then that I started working and finding out about what's involved in Panathlon.
So when you first started sort of getting involved, what did you first initially think when you started getting involved?
I thought it was amazing that there was a charity that was putting sports events on specifically for SEND children and young people, because they don't usually get a chance to go and get involved in competitive sports. But this opened up sports for them.
Yeah. And then obviously, so you've been involved a while now.
I have,
And
yes.
in turn, and obviously with you're an interpreter for James Dixon, aren't you?
I am.
So if people have been watching these podcasts, they would have seen, was it yourself that came on with James?
I don't think so.
But I know we've had James on as a
Yeah.
guest as well. So talk to us about now how you see Panathlon and what the benefits are, and sort of being involved as well, because really James obviously worked for us now as well. So how do you see sort of the benefits of being involved and sort of what we do as an organisation?
Well, the organisation supports and organises of sporting events for children and young people with disabilities of all different natures, and it enables them to access the sports and the competitions, to make new friends, and to have a really good day out.
Yeah, love that. And again, as you say, there are so many children that don't get those opportunities.
Yet normally they wouldn't be able to compete in mainstream sports, but this enables them to compete as they are at their level and feel a sense of achievement, because all the young people go home with a medal and a certificate at the end of the day.
Yeah, how does that make you feel? Obviously, you are, because you're working with James, you're part of the team, aren't you? How do you feel, just even personally, about the impact that has on the children we work with?
It's amazing. You can see them grow in confidence. And sometimes it's the same young people that come for several events over several years. And you can see their growth and development, their confidence, self-esteem.
Yeah, it's an incredible journey they go on throughout the program, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And they'll see friends again that they've seen before. And they're so happy and chatty.
So let's talk specifically now about the deaf community.
Okay.
And obviously that's predominantly the area that you're supporting us with and working within.
Yeah.
So what, just from your perspective in terms of the deaf community, why don't you give us an insight into what it's like working with the deaf community?
I love my job. I love working with the deaf community. They have a very good sense of humour, and it's an honour and a privilege to be able to spend a certain amount of time, snapshots of people's lives with them, whether that's going to the hospital with them, whether that's sharing a day's work with them, or any other thing that any other time that the deaf people need to communicate with hearing people.
And what I'm learning by being involved with the organisation, by being involved with the podcast and other aspects, is actually there is a real sense of community.
They definitely
with
is.
the deaf community, isn't there?
Yes. Traditionally, it was based at the deaf club and deaf schools, but more recently, technology has enabled them to communicate in different ways. So whereas there's still some deaf clubs around, they are very far and few between. But there's now, there seems to be a growing importance of deaf pubs and outings, and there's definitely deaf identity and deaf community.
And this sort of brings me on to the next bit, because obviously through Panathlon and the work we're doing, we're now, yes, we can have deaf children and also children with hearing impairments in our programs, but also now we're also doing specific events for them.
Yes, just picking you up on one thing though.
Yeah.
Deaf hearing impairments isn't a term that's used anymore. It's just deaf.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a good program for them, and that is vitally important because, as I said, traditionally there used to be deaf schools, but now a lot of deaf children of a variety of hearing losses are in mainstream schools, and there may be one or two in the school. So deaf identity isn't as strong as it used to be. But these events bring young people together, and they make friends, and they see there's a lot of people that's similar to themselves, wearing hearing aids or cochlear implants and using technology. So they're not alone. They're not the only person.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, because actually we always hear in terms of when children are involved in sport that in some groups they don't see people like themselves.
Yes, yes. And that goes across all the Panathlon events, whether it be a PD day, a SLD day, MLD day, or deaf or VI.
Yeah, and that's where I think as well, obviously now that, how important do you think it is? And again, you may have had conversation with some of these children, having James involved as a role model.
Amazing.
And that for me is the biggest thing.
You'll get young deaf children coming up and signing to him and getting very excited that he's in the England deaf cricket team. And yes.
Yeah, so what do you think would be the biggest impact of having James involved with it, for them, for James himself, for you, even, for you seeing this firsthand? What would you say is the biggest impact from that?
Well, it's amazing to have a deaf sports coach leading deaf events, so that they can look up to him and he's the one in charge of the event. Definitely.
And have you seen that impact on James as well?
James has grown and has increased in confidence himself over the years, definitely.
And I think this is really important, because we all want to grow. We all want to improve what we're doing and have a bigger impact. So how long would you say you've been working with James?
Oh, probably about 8 years now.
Okay, so you've seen him grow over the 8 years.
Yeah,
in terms,
not grow anymore. He's too tall anyway.
Literally that way, and in confidence as well. So what, obviously now with James more involved in what we're doing as an organisation, how have you seen him grow in confidence? Have you seen, and obviously he's doing well in his cricket. He's been doing well with his cricket as well, which
amazing, and he's got some matches coming up with India.
Yeah, so obviously he's growing with that way, but in terms of as an event deliverer as well, and as a sports coach and a deliverer as well, talk to me about the impact you've seen on James, and how he's grown and how you've seen him sort of almost grow up as well while we're doing the programs.
Well, the events are amazing. James himself has got a master's in sports strength and conditioning. So he's got a very high academic background in the area, and he's organising some of the most amazing events that I've seen. Last week, there was 272 children that came to the athletics event in Liverpool. And that takes a lot of planning and preparation.
Have you seen him grow in terms of communicating with, because obviously he'll work with us. I've had a number of events with him as well. Have you seen him grow in confidence in terms of how he's worked with us as well?
Absolutely. Emailing, communicating in different ways that aren't sign language. Absolutely.
So in terms of what we're sort of where we're going now, what would you say? I've sort of got two questions to finish. Okay. So the first question, if there was another deaf coach or another coach who has an additional learning need, who'd be interested in potentially working with children and doing what we're doing, what would you say to them?
I would say Panathlon is a really good employer for yourselves. They're really supportive. They let you know what you need to do and will provide other coaches to support if needed. So, I've really enjoyed the events. They're amazing. If they want to work with kids, this is a really good organisation to work for.
And also, obviously, having worked with James, I've worked with you a couple of times. Can I just say how good you are as well?
Thank you.
And you like to get involved, but that's great, because actually it's all about what we get involved and
Yes.
we support each other and we muck in, and this is what it's about, because actually it's about making the best possible event for the children involved.
And as an interpreter, it's great to be able to work within a team because that aids the communication.
Yeah, amazing. So final question. If a school was hearing this and had only just heard of Panathlon and potentially had a deaf unit or just a unit within a mainstream school and were sitting on the fence about getting involved in Panathlon, what would you say to them?
I would say contact James if you're in the area or your other sports coaches from the different areas and have a meeting with them, because the sports events are amazing and it brings out the best in all the kids.
Brilliant. You've heard that first. Get involved with us. Contact us. Why not? I'm personally a believer in actually get involved. The school won't regret it. The children certainly won't regret it. And the amount of times we've had children who, I was talking to one yesterday who said, I've got every coloured medal apart from the silver, so today I want to win the silver. And that's what they got. So they've now got a full set and they went away as happy as they could. And they had the best time possible.
Yeah, they love the medals and the certificates. Definitely.
Yeah, they are important to them. So thank you very much for jumping on.
You're very welcome.
If anyone wants to get involved with Panathlon, please get in touch with us. I'm Dom Fenton, your host, and I will see you again for Panathlon People. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.